Okay, page 4, the last page of our notes, deals with the relationships between diameters and chords. So there are some interesting relationships that occur here. Looking at a diameter, remember the diameter goes through the center. And if it is perpendicular to a chord, then it bisects the chord. So I'm going to put some little tick marks in there. So it would bisect segment AB, and it would also bisect segment RS. But not only does it bisect the chord, it bisects the arc. So I'm referring to this arc, AB, and it would bisect RS. If the two chords are congruent, then they are equidistant from the center. So if AB and RS are congruent, then they will be the same distance from the center. So OX, I'm going to use 3 marks here, will be the same length as OY. The other thing we want to take notice is, I'm going to erase some things here now, is when I have my diameter congruent or perpendicular to my chords, if I draw, and let me draw it in a different color. If I draw my radius, so B would be a radius. OA would be a radius. OS would be a radius. RO would be a radius. I have some right triangles. So all of these little triangles here would be right triangles. So you can use Pythagorean theorem to find side lengths if needed. So let's put this into practice. So I have this diagram. I see that DG and GU are congruent or equal measure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in over here. This is 6. Since they are congruent, I also know that TR and CA are congruent. And they tell us that in our directions anyway. So we have some right triangles. First question is asking for TU. So this is a right triangle right here. So to find the length of TU, I can, and I'll just write, let me write that over here. I can take 6 squared plus TU squared will equal 10 squared. So 100 minus 36 which is 64, and the square root of 64 is 8. So TU is 8. If TU is 8, UR is 8. Because I have that diameter perpendicular to the chord, so it bisects the chord. So TR would be 8 plus 8, which is 16. Arc TS. Okay, so now we have to use one of our prior knowledge things. We have an inscribed angle, and its arc is the same measure. So to find the measure of arc TS, I just need to find the measure of its central angle. Well, I can use my trig ratios to do that. So just pick any one of your ratios. I'm going to just use the two that are given here, 6 and 10. And that would be adjacent and height. And the trig ratio that uses adjacent and height is cosine. So inverse cosine, because I'm trying to find an angle, of 6 over 10, which equals 53.1. Find the length of CD. I know these two chords are going to be congruent. So CD is going to equal TU. And TU is 8. DG we already filled in. And arc AB. Because my chords are congruent, my arcs are going to be congruent. And since I'm only trying to find AB, apologize for that, AB is going to equal the measure of arc TS, which is 53.1. And this concludes